My name is Kerem. I take pictures of places that shouldn't exist anymore. Hospitals, schools, motels where the world forgot to turn the lights off. Most people call them abandoned. But I've learned something. Nothing abandoned ever stays quiet. The city wanted night shots of the Meshalik State Asylum, the one that closed down in 1967 after a structural failure no one ever explained. I didn't go for the paycheck. I went because I wanted to hear what the place still had to say. The gate barely held together. Beyond it, the main building rose like a broken spine against the sky. Every window was black. Every corridor was waiting. Inside, the air was colder than it should have been. The smell hit first. Rust, wet plaster, and that sterile sweetness of medicine that never fades. My flashlight cut through clouds of dust, floating like something breathing. There was a security office sign above the first door. The glass was shattered. I pushed the door open. Inside, a metal desk, a chair still facing a wall of dead monitors, and a small wooden box sitting right in the center, like someone left it there on purpose. Inside the box were three things: a logbook handwritten in red and black ink, a photograph of a woman in a lab coat holding a metronome, and an old cassette labeled in shaky pencil. Echo. I don't know why, but I felt like the room had been waiting for me to find it. I pulled out my old tape recorder, pressed play. A woman's voice came through, calm, methodical. But there was strain under it. That kind of exhaustion that sounds like fear you've learned to live with.
Observation 2, Test 3, Patient 114, Jane K. Breathe with the metronome, Jane. Inhale your memory. Exhale your fear.
Then a girl's voice, faint, maybe 9 years old.
Mom?
My flashlight flickered. It was stupid. I knew it was just the tape. But my body turned toward the doorway anyway. "Mum's at the end of the hallway," the girl said, her voice warping with the tape. "But there's no door."
Then where's the sound coming from, Jane?
From the lock.
The tape clicked and went silent. I looked down the hallway. One of the doors ahead, observation 2, was cracked open. The air changed as I stepped closer. Every footstep echoed twice, once from my shoes, once from something slower behind. I pushed the door open. The room was small. A one-way mirror covered half the wall. The other side had a metal chair, a table, and a broken speaker dangling by its wire. And right in the middle of the table, a metronome. Old, wooden, still standing. It wasn't moving. Until it did. I stepped closer. On the underside, scratched into the wood, someone had carved a sentence. "Where your breath breaks, your story begins." I whispered, "What the hell does that mean?" Something just tapped the glass from the other side. Not loud, just enough to feel personal. I froze. The reflection looked exactly like me, but the head tilt wasn't mine. I turned off the flashlight. For a second, there was no difference between my breathing and the ticking in the dark. Then, the tape recorder clicked again. By itself.
Observation 2, 6th session, Echo protocol continues. Jane, where's the door now?
It's breathing, Doctor.
What do you mean? Breathing?
The walls are breathing with me.
I pressed stop and backed out of the room. Something was leaking from the ceiling. Thin streaks of brown that weren't water. Down the hallway, a faint red light flickered. Radiotherapy/archive. I followed it. The door opened into a smaller chamber. Shelves lined with medical records, film reels, and more tapes stacked like bones. On one of them, Echo, Night 6, scrawled in ink. No cassette this time. Real tape, big, industrial. I couldn't play it, but the tape's tail was sticking out, torn. I lifted it. When the light hit the film, the shadow looked like a heartbeat frozen mid-pulse. Something shifted behind me. I turned, nothing there. But the shelf beside me had moved half an inch. Then came a knock. 3 short hits from inside the wall. I ran my fingers over the plaster. One square felt hollow, cold. The panel came loose, revealing a metal door, barely big enough for a person. On it, written in marker, the same handwriting as before, "Whoever opens this must leave their breath behind." I turned the handle. The air sucked inward like the building itself inhaled. Inside was a maintenance tunnel, narrow, concrete, with old acoustic foam peeling off the walls. My flashlight beam barely reached the end. At the far end I saw it, a dim light, like a dying bulb or a candle. I started walking. Every step felt like the tunnel was shrinking. My shoulders brushed the walls. It smelled like old film, chemical, metallic, alive. Halfway through I heard it again. Tick-tock, tick. But this time it wasn't from the recorder. It was coming from inside the walls. The light at the end began to flicker faster, matching the ticks. I reached the final chamber. There, on the floor, was a wooden box, same as the one from the security office. Inside, a smaller cassette, a note, and an iron key with the letter K engraved on it. The note said, "Echo removes the door from inside the listener. If the metronome stops, the door closes, but only the one marked with K can turn the lock." I swallowed hard. K. My name. Kerem. Coincidence. Had to be. I slid the cassette into my recorder and pressed play.
Echo Protocol, 7th night. Attempting final closure. Jane, if you can hear me, we must stop the metronome.
But Doctor, Mum's already behind it.
She isn't real, Jane. She's the sound pretending to be her.
If I stop the ticking, she goes away.
Yes, stop it now.
Tick, 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 tick. Then nothing. Silence thick enough to choke on. Then the child whispered,
She's not gone, Doctor.
Jane?
She's behind you.
The tape ended. I lowered the recorder slowly. Something wet dripped onto it from above. I tilted my light up. A face. Half there. Half pressed into the concrete ceiling, eyes open, mouth moving soundlessly in sync with an invisible rhythm. Then, tick. The head turned toward me. I bolted for the tunnel. The walls moved. Each flash showed the passage getting narrower, closing in. The ticking filled the air like a swarm of clocks. At the end, the metal door slammed shut on its own. I threw my shoulder into it. It wouldn't move. The recorder still played in my pocket. The voice whispered through distortion, "If the door closes, the echo remains." My flashlight died. There was only ticking now, and my heartbeat trying to match it. When I woke up, it was morning. The door was open behind me. No tape, no box. Just a metronome lying on its side, pendulums still swinging. Slowly. I left the asylum and didn't look back until I was halfway to the city. But in the side mirror, I swear, for a split second, I saw someone standing at the gate. A woman in a white coat, holding a metronome.